Now, when I first came up with the idea of making a list of the stupidest movies of 2019, I figured there's no way there's going to be enough. I've seen enough movies to even make a top 10 list. Because, again, I don't watch every movie. I'm not a film critic. I'm not a film reviewer. And I don't pretend to be one on YouTube. I just watch the movies that I want to watch, and I comment on them. And I comment on them every once in a while. But, just for shits and giggles, I figured, you know what? Let me do a Google search of the most popular movies of 2019 just to see what happens. And when the result shows up, there's like a list, there's like a row on the top of all the various movie posters of the most popular movies of 2019. And I went, oh, okay, that's going on the list. That's going on the list. 3, 4, 5, 6. Apparently, I've seen, even though I haven't seen, I've only seen like a fraction of the movies, apparently I've seen enough movies that actually qualify to make a list of the top 10 stupidest movies of 2019. And the fact that a lot of the movies on this list are actually considered the most popular movies of 2019 was just an added bonus. So I had to make this list just to piss off people and be the shit disturber that, I am. Because you have to understand, there are going to be movies, because again, it's not a worst movies list, because there are going to be movies on my list that are not going to be on anybody's worst movies list, okay? And there are going to be movies on my list that are going to be on everybody's list of best movies for 2019, okay? So, strap in. This is not... If you've seen any of my other videos, you probably have an idea of what movies are going to be on this list. But otherwise, you might be a little bit surprised. Oh, and just in case it's necessary, spoilers. Not for the movie, but the fact that I'm going to actually reveal how goddamn stupid a lot of the movies that you guys like actually are. Bit of a caveat. There might be movies you've seen that you think deserve to be on this list. And the main reason they're probably not on this list is because I haven't seen the movie. Okay? Cats is a good example. From what I've heard, Cats would more than likely, have a top spot on the list of the stupidest movies of 2019. The thing is, I haven't seen the movie, and I have no interest in wanting to watch the movie, and I'm not going to watch the movie just so that I can shit on it and put it on this list, okay? Again, it's only about movies I like and that I want to watch. Another thing. Okay, there are going to be 2 movies that I have seen that you're going to notice are not going to be on this list. And those 2 movies are Hellboy and Charlie's Angels. Now you might be asking yourself, why the hell would I not be putting those 2 movies on the list of the stupidest movies of 2019? Well, that's because calling them stupid would be a disservice, okay? Because these 2 movies were just absolute cringe, okay? Everything in this movie that was stupid was literally drowning in a sea of cringe. Okay? And just saying, oh, it was just stupid is ignoring the cringe around it. As an example with Hellboy. In the beginning of the movie, when he has to go save his friend, but I forget what they call Mexican wrestlers. And he was supposed to go and, investigate some vampires, and lo and behold, he ends up being a vampire. Now, that whole scene in the ring is stupid, except it's just so goddamn cringy. So, I can't go that stupid, but then not also establish how much goddamn cringe is in it. Same thing with Charlie's Angels. There's that scene, I think near the end, where that new angel is fighting that big guy in that control room, and she's winning the fight, and she's kicking his ass. And yes, it's stupid, but it's just so goddamn cringy that it's not even stupid anymore. So it's not that these two movies aren't on this list because they aren't stupid. These two movies deserve their own goddamn list. Okay? These two movies, like if I make a video, like if there's a list of the top 10 cringiest movies of 2019, these two movies deserve to be on that list. Okay? Like, these two movies have graduated beyond stupid and have gone straight on to cringe and just worthless, useless, goddamn unnecessary. So I just want to explain that the only reason they're not on the list of the stupidest movies of 2019 is because they've gone beyond stupid and they've entered cringe and just absolute worthless, useless movies. I guess a spoiler/warning before I actually get to the list, because I'm going to be actually giving examples of the stupid in each of these movies, which is how they got on this list in the first place. So if you just want to remain ignorant to these movies and just not know the stupid that was in these movies and what was necessary to keep these movies going, and that you guys were just absolutely oblivious to and want to remain oblivious to, I suggest you leave now and go watch, I don't know, Baby Yoda videos, whatever it is you guys do. So anyway, hopefully that's the last thing. I think that's it. Okay, let's start off with number 10.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
Now, despite the fact that there was some really good aspects to Shazam, like the movie was good, the story was good. Like one of my favorite scenes of the movie was when Dr. Savannah and Shazam, I'm just going to call him Shazam, were in the air and they were about a mile apart, and Dr. Savannah just starts monologuing, and Shazam is going, What? I can't hear you. Like, that was brilliant. That was like one of my favorite scenes of 2019, right? But it was still stupid in this movie. Like in the beginning, when Billy Batson is, tricking the cops into the pawn shop. Well, where's the owner? Like, why is the owner conveniently, not around? Getting to the wizard's lair, right? Like, why did Billy need to have the subway train? Why did Dr. Savannah as a kid need to, like, how did he get there by car? Like, seriously, how did he get there by car? And then later on in the movie, all you need is a door? Because everybody else just seemed to go through a door. So it was just like, and then you have to have symbols on the door, but you don't really have to have symbols on the door as long as the symbols are nearby. But then when the kids follow the door Dr. Savannah made, they kind of end up in somewhere in the lair, but then they walk into a room that's full of doors. Well, then why don't all doors open up into the room of doors? And why are all those doors there permanently when you open them and there's no symbols on the door? It's just like, it was just ridiculous. Then we have the transfer of power, okay? Because at the beginning, the wizard Shazam goes, he transfers his power through the staff into Billy Batson, and he becomes Shazam. Dr. Savannah wants Billy to transfer the powers of Shazam through the staff into Dr. Savannah, right? So you're assuming that if Billy Batson says the word Shazam while holding the staff, the power of Shazam will enter Dr. Savannah, and Shazam will end up being Billy Batson. Except at the end of the movie, when all the brothers and sisters are holding the staff and he yells Shazam, they all get power. So if like 100 people were holding the staff, would all 100 people suddenly gain the power of Shazam? Like, that doesn't work that way. And not only that, Billy Batson doesn't even lose the powers of, like, it doesn't even transfer. So it's like, like I said, the movie's enjoyable on parts, but it still has just so much stupid in it. Anyway, so on to number 9. Now, I don't think I really need to give that many examples on why this movie is on this list, because most of you already know why, but to give some examples that I can think of off the top of my head, like in the beginning of the movie, the one scene that I always remembered was Raven, they're gonna go save the space shuttle, and Raven goes to Storm, steal that ship, and Storm just kind of eye glows. I'm going, what exactly is she doing to seal that ship? Seriously, like what powers does she have that can somehow meld steel? The fact that that miasma of energy or whatever is supposed to be the Phoenix Force, but doesn't she already have the Phoenix Force? So I was like, how is that supposed to happen? The total mishmash of powers that the Dabari, I think that's what they're called, the Dabari, the total mishmash of pathetic, stupid ass waste of time. Like they're bulletproof and they're fast and they're just. Also, it's like, how did Magneto get the land? Like, I never understood why did the government give Magneto land and go, oh yeah, you can have your own little Genosha? Anyway. But yeah, obviously, I think there's no surprise why this movie is on the list of stupidest movies of 2019. Anyway, on to number 8. Godzilla. How about not having enough Godzilla in the first place, right? How about not having enough Godzilla in a movie that actually has his name in the title? I mean, is that asking too much? I don't know, apparently. But other examples are the mother was believed to be kidnapped, but we end up finding out that she was working with the eco-terrorists all along. So then, why did they have to kidnap her? They could have had it that the mother tested the eco device, or the Orca device, on Mothra, and then went, oh, okay, it works, and then just the fact that Ghidorah isn't even a Titan, but is an alien from another that came to Earth. So then how did the Orca device work on him when the Orca device is specifically geared to Titans? The dad, there's a scene where the dad wants to find his daughter. I can't remember the daughter's name. And he goes into the helicopter and he's sitting there and it's like, where you going, dude? You don't even know where your daughter is. Like, what's the helicopter pilot? Like, did the helicopter pilot even realize that the dad even walked in? Because it's not like the helicopter pilot even acknowledges. And even if he did, what directions were you going to give the pilot? Oh, and this scene. Now, I am sure that there are a bunch of you going, what was wrong with that? That's a cool scene. I love that scene. Yeah, okay. Out of curiosity, what's Godzilla standing on? In case you aren't aware of what's going on, they're in the middle of the ocean, okay? Godzilla broke the surface of the water and is now standing on the water. Like, how does that work? Let's go on to number 7, please.
We are the Men in Black.
Men in Black International. Just another dumpster fire that I don't really think I need to explain why this movie's on the list, but to give some examples, if Agent T is really part of the Hive, then why did he keep Agent H around and not kill him from the very beginning? Considering Agent H is his only loose end. Like, there was no actual reason to keep him alive except the story needed to keep him alive so that he'd be able to expose Agent T. And then in the beginning of the movie, right? Okay. The MIB agents show up because Molly has that alien in her room, right? But the MIB agents confront the parents in front of the house, okay? And explain that they're there about the alien creature, and then they neuralize the parents, but then they leave. And it's like, what? Why wouldn't the agents actually go into the house to try and find the alien? Well, then they can't do that because, like, did the MIB agents find out that there's an alien in this house, decided, okay, we're just going to go in, neuralize the parents who didn't even know that there was an alien. And as another example, why did Molly have to be a super genius? I mean, seriously, because according to, the first Men in Black movie, the qualifications weren't really that, hard. Like Will Smith's character got in because he runs fast, and the coroner got in because Will Smith's character recommended her. All of a sudden now there's this, but of course she had to be a super genius because that way, what was it, at the very end she's got that little box and it becomes that weapon, and they need her to be a super genius so she'll be able to know how it works. This was just... anyway, number 6.
I'll be back.
Terminator Dark Fate. Another no surprise, no shock. The only stupid that I really want to talk about are the ones that really pissed me off. And the first and foremost one was the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator had a dog on his lap. It was just... It literally said, screw... That one little scene, to me, was just... Screw the whole Terminator mythology, the whole Terminator storyline. Just, it means nothing. It was just... the fact that, this movie made T1 and T2 irrelevant, that was just goddamn stupid. The fact that they had to change, that they had to create Legion, that never really made any sense. Like, why couldn't Skynet still just have been called Skynet? It didn't really need to change its name to Legion. And they need Danny because Danny's the only one that goes, hey, let's stop fighting each other and let's start fighting Legion. It was such... that's the best you could come up with on why you needed Danny? Number 5. John Wick 3. This is the part of the list where it's going to start it was getting to be real difficult where to actually rank the movies on the stupid list, but John Wick gets number 5. Everybody that needs to be an assassin or is part of the assassin underworld is an assassin because the movie needs it to be. Like in the beginning of the movie, John Wick runs up to a random cab, right? Runs up to just a random cab, goes in, hands the cab driver a coin as if he already knew that the cabbie was would know what was going on. Like, are all cab drivers part of the assassin underworld now? Like, how does this work? Then he goes to the library and he gets out a book and it's hollowed out. Like, it's not like it's an obscure book that's hidden somewhere. Anybody could. Then he goes, the scene where he goes to the store that sells chandeliers. Okay? Now remember, he walks into this store that sells chandeliers. And then he goes upstairs to, I guess, like an antique shop or an antique storage area. And you get that scene where he, reconstructs a gun for one shot. And you see the other people coming up the stairs, right? Coming after him. After John Wick shoots the one guy, all of a sudden the next scene, he's back downstairs in the chandelier store. Like, how did he get there? Like, the stairs were already covered, so and then, now remember, they're in a chandelier store, and there's cabinets filled with swords, knives, and axes. Like most normal chandelier stores. Another example, I guess, was he's being chased, and there are these two cars, and he gets hit by these two cars, right? And he's on the ground, he's staggered, okay? He's literally on the ground staggered. He's trying to get up, right? And he eventually gets up. He looks at the two people he looks at the people in the car, turns around and runs. That's when the guys in the car decide to open up the doors, get out, and chase him. Not while he's on the ground, not while he's staggered, not while he's stumbling to get up, not while he's standing there for a couple of seconds, staring them in the eyes. No, once he starts leaving, that's when. Now there's a dozen more examples I could use, but I really don't want to promote it. But yes, if you're interested in any more of the examples, I do have videos covering some of the movies on this list, and John Wick 3 is one of them. Anyway, on to number 4. Oh man, I am gonna get so much hate on number 4, but what can you do? Now, for those of you who haven't already clicked off and have left, if you're still here, you're probably going, how in the name of God could I possibly put Joker even on this list, much less this high? Okay, try to understand. This has nothing to do with Joaquin Phoenix's performance. The dude was just amazing, okay? It has nothing. I'm not in any way challenging his performance and his skill in this movie. It has to do with the story. The story is still filled with so much stupid, and you know the stupid, okay? Because first off, okay, Arthur keeps getting away with murder, literally, okay? Like, he kills, like when Gary and Randall go visit him, Arthur kills Gary, or kills Randall, and then lets Gary go, and Gary doesn't, decide to tell anyone. Like, hey, why doesn't Gary call the cops and go, hey, I just witnessed a murder? Because the two cops that are constantly chasing Arthur are only after him because of the subway murders, nothing else. Not only that, Arthur ends up killing his mother in the hospital bed and then just gets up and gets to walk out. Like, what? I mean, she's hooked up to, like, all the systems. Like, somebody would have noticed she flatlined and would have walked in and seen him smothering him. And then at the end of the movie, I can't remember the name of the host, right? But he literally shoots him on air, and apparently, it's okay. And they keep airing it. He literally, according to the show, he murders someone live on air, and they're still airing it. No, they wouldn't. You know they wouldn't. And what's even worse is once he gets to the camera and starts making his little speech, that's when they cut it off. And then you see the scene of all the the TV screens, and it's all the news stations, and the news stations are airing the murder on their show. What else? You have the scene where Arthur is reading the psych report and finds out for the first time that, oh, by the way, you were abused as a child. And then, if that wasn't enough, you see the scene of the room with the mother and the psychiatrist talking, and you see Arthur, like as an adult, kind of hovering in the back, and it's like, what is this? Arthur's memory? Arthur wouldn't have been in the room, morons. There's no way this is a flashback of a memory that Arthur had. He wouldn't have been in the room. You literally had a flashback memory of a scene that Arthur had no way of actually having as part of his memory, but none of you cared. What else? Arthur goes to Wayne Manor to confront I forget Bruce Wayne's dad's name, right? And he brought with him a trick wand and a rubber nose? Why would he bring that? Oh, because he ends up meeting Bruce Wayne in the front gate. He had no idea he was going to meet Bruce Wayne, so there was no reason for him to bring that magic trick wand. But was there any? How about the fact that Murray, right, the host of the talk show, got a video clip of Arthur's stand-up? How? It's not possible, because this movie takes place in the 80s. People didn't have cell phones with camera capabilities or video capabilities, and wouldn't have been able to email it to Murray. Like, there's no way anybody could have recorded his stand-up and send it to Murray. Okay? This movie literally makes it so that something that is actually impossible was required to keep this movie going forward. And that's the problem with this movie overall. Okay? It's just filled with stupid because the director has no idea how to get from point A to point B to point C, and so just, uses stupid to keep it going. Now again, Joaquin Phoenix's acting was Oscar worthy. In fact, it's the only reason this movie was any good was because of Joaquin Phoenix. But I'm sorry, this movie is riddled with stupid. Anyway, if you're still with me after having trashed Joker, number 3. Captain Marvel. Now, there are a lot of people that had problems with Captain Marvel for their own reasons, and that's not why. Again, stupidest movies of 2019. And there are just so many examples for Captain Marvel. Starting on planet Torfu, right? It was meant as a trap for Carol. Yet there was no way the Skrulls could have possibly have known that Carol was going to be on the mission and sent to Torfu in the first place. Then she gets captured and she's escaping, right? Now the only damage she does is she ends up blowing a hole in the hull. But then when she gets into the escape pod and leaves, you see that the entire ship is on fire and in flames. And it's like, how? There's literally no reason. But the movie needs the ship to be destroyed so that they... the Game Boy. She hacks a Game Boy into her comm and connects it to a phone booth to make an intergalactic phone call? The level of stupid required for that is... First of all, how would she have even have known that the Game Boy would have had the parts to be able to connect and hook it into the phone booth? Don't think about it. Is she skilled in this? How was she even skilled in being able to do this? Don't worry about it. Then she makes if the whole fact that she was able to hack a Game Boy to be able to get into the phone, she goes, she's calling. Now they have to end. I forget who the director is. They have to end this scene, but he doesn't know how. Okay, so during the call, you get a recorded message of you need a long distance access code to keep going on. Well, how was she even able to make the call in the first place unless she had the access code? And if she had the access code, she would have used it. Therefore, there wouldn't have been a requirement to use something she had already used to make the call in the first place. It just makes no... This movie was just bullshit throughout. The subway scene. Okay? Carol chases the Skrull into the subway, right? And we see the old lady. But the thing is, Carol ends up stopping and interacting with the old lady. Here's the thing. The Skrull is looking out the window and sees Carol interacting with the old woman. So what form does the Skrull take to hide from Carol? Oh, I know. The old lady Captain Marvel actually knows is the only one who left the subway. How simple-minded is this movie, and how simple-minded are you people watching this, not catching this? Like, again, there's way too many to cover in this video, but what was the other? Oh, she again in the subway, right? She's chasing the Skrull, and there's that little section between subway cars. The Skrull pops up, starts changing forms, and Carol is literally just standing there, waiting for him to do all these changes. It's like, grab him, smash through the windows. You want to capture him? No. We gotta have this really cool special effect. Then once the Skrull jumps up and leaves, that's when Captain Marvel goes, oh, now we'll go chase him. She doesn't, I can't remember where, but she doesn't know where to go next. And this was glorious. This level of stupid was absolutely glorious. She doesn't know where to go next, and she checks her comm. And all of a sudden, she gets a flashback or some type of images of Pegasus and Pancho's bar. Because since the movie literally has no way of figuring out how to get the story going, they just pop up Pegasus and Pancho's bar on her comm. And here's the weird thing. Was this a memory of hers and it somehow transferred into the comm? Again, there's dozens of stupid in this movie. And again, if you're interested, I have videos covering it, but yeah, this movie was just, again, I have Infinity War, but unfortunately Infinity War was in 2018, so that doesn't count. That didn't make the list, but this movie was just, anyway, number 2.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
Rise of Skywalker. If I have to explain to you why this movie is on this list, I can't help you. Okay? You've drunk the Disney Kool-Aid. You are just so far gone. I can't help you. Okay? Go watch Baby Yoda videos. Okay? Because that's the only intellectual level you are capable of if you cannot understand. Because I can't even give an example because the whole movie is the example. It's literally a constant stream of stupid from the very beginning to the very end. I can give examples of breaks of when it's stupid, but that's about it. Now, obviously, a lot of you are going, how is this not number one? The reason this isn't number one is because I never really gave a damn about the sequels. Thus, I wasn't really invested in the movies. So the fact that Rise of Skywalker was just an incredible shit show didn't really bother me as much as what ended up being number one on this list. What's number one on this list? Well, now, for whoever I didn't lose with the Joker entry, I pretty much lost with this entry. Because how dare this movie even be on this list, much less, be number one. Like, this is the greatest movie of all time. It's made over $2 billion. Like, I'm going to give you one example because there's just way too many. This movie is literally filled with consistent stupid after stupid. And this will be the only entry where I'll go, you want to know all the stupid in this movie? Okay? I actually made a 5-part video trying to cover as much of the stupid as I could. Okay? Because I can't give enough examples in this to do it justice, except for one example. Okay? And that is, at the end of the movie, when Iron Man has the stones on his... Oh, before I even get to that, okay? He takes the stones and puts them on his regular Iron Man gauntlet. Well then, why did he need the specialized Infinity... Why did he need to build the specialized Iron Man gauntlet to control the stones when he ends up just crazy gluing them to his regular Iron Man gauntlet? But none of you gave a damn. None of you noticed. None of you cared. So if he could literally have just put it on his regular Iron Man gauntlet, why the hell did Thanos even need the Infinity Gauntlet in the first place? Oh wait, because you needed it to control the energy of the stones? Except now apparently his Iron Man's regular... I haven't even gone to the example that I'm trying to talk to, but this is how goddamn stupid this movie is. He literally took the Infinity Stones and how did he... there's not even sections on his gauntlet for the stones to be on. So what did he do? Let them and just put them on? Did he crazy? So anyway, apparently now Iron Man's regular suit can now contain the power of the Infinity Stones. So anyway, getting to the one example. He goes, I am Iron Man, and snaps his fingers. And Thanos and all his minions disappear and die. And you're going, yeah, okay, what's the problem? It's Thanos from the past. The Thanos that dies at the end of Endgame is the Thanos that time traveled from the past to the present. Well, wouldn't having killed Thanos from the past absolutely destroy and shatter the MCU timeline? If 2014 Thanos dies, then he never gets the stones, never creates the Infinity Gauntlet. Oops! How do you... And the fact that none of you even noticed or realized it is just which is why I even started doing these videos in the first place. The fact that 2014 Thanos died and the only timeline problem you have is Loki. That's the only timeline issue you had? But Thanos from 2014 dying? That we can ignore? But the main reason this movie is number one on this list is because, and beats out Rise of Skywalker, is I was actually invested in the Marvel movies. Okay? I love the Marvel movies. And by the end of the Infinity War saga, it just... Anyway. That's my list of the stupidest movies of 2019. God knows none of you are going to agree with any of this. More than likely, anybody actually watching this list is going to hate it. Oh, good! Because the whole idea is to actually let you know how stupid these movies were in the first place, because the majority of you were too damn stupid to... You guys were so damn stupid, you need me to point out the stupid. You guys were too stupid to realize we're stupid. Because I'm here for you. I do this for you. That's just the kind of guy I am. Anyway, for any of you that have actually made it this far, I told you weren't going to like this list. I knew you were going to have a problem. I tried to warn you, but... I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to go. So what did you think were the stupidest films of 2019? Or what movies do you agree or disagree that were on this list? Please comment below. I doubt I need to ask, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get enough comments of people telling me what kind of a moron and asshole and idiot I am. But guaranteed none of them are going to actually be able to challenge anything I said, because I'm used to that. Anyway, Happy New Year. Looking forward to 2020, I'll tell you that. And a whole new list of stupid movies. Anyway, I'm out of here. See ya.